And I was doing some research about you online as well as after reading the book, and I came across your interview from this morning with Holly and Phil. I actually saw it back in the day because I always click on the kind of juicier interviews that they do, and I really love how they squirm on the sofa, daytime TV. It's hilarious. And I actually did see that back in the day, but I was reminded that it was you, and I was thinking, oh wow, I'm going to speak to her in a couple of weeks. How cool! And they refer to you as the orgasm doctor. Isn't that interesting? And you have a book called The Orgasm Prescription. Do you actually prescribe orgasms?
The answer is yes. You may remember from that interview that I said I recommend that my patients have at least 3 orgasms a week, and that
Mm,
is the minimum.
mm,
Um, yeah, that show with Phil and Holly was quite interesting. There's so many things I could get into that were interesting about it. First, the squirming on the couch, like, I don't know what it is about the Brits that like they don't want to talk about orgasm and sex,
mm,
and it was a little squeamish. But what was interesting about that was the show was aired on a Monday. We were live on Monday. Over the weekend, they conducted a survey with some of their viewers and asked women in particular about their opinions about orgasm. And the high percentage of women who reported back they feel guilty for having an orgasm was mind blowing. So I'm sure that says something about the Brits, but it's interesting because what I found out in my research for that book is that number one, orgasm happens in the brain. And for women who are not able to experience orgasm, it's generally within them. Now, I mentioned that I recommend 3 orgasms a week. I actually do that from the medical side because for a person to have a lowered libido or whatever natural sensations or sights, if it's not turning them on, quite often there's a physiologic reason. So that could be high blood sugar, it could be high blood pressure, could be nerve damage. So it's kind of like a screener. But the other thing that we found is that for women, if we have way too much going on in our head, whether we're judging the situation, judging our partner, judging ourselves, judging whether or not we deserve, to have an orgasm, that's going to hold back all of that sexy, fun stuff. So yeah, that was an interesting time, and sharing that book around the world has been really wonderful because I've gotten emails from people. Like I had this woman in her 70s who said after 40 years of marriage, she finally had an orgasm with her husband. And I'm like, oh my God, you went 40 years? Oh my gosh. So,
Yeah, I think women don't prioritize their own pleasure enough. And also, I get this kind of very similar messages because I'm a sex toy reviewer and sex toy designer. So I get a lot of
ah, I didn't know that part. Designer. Oh,
yeah, it's
okay.
really fun because I've got 700 sex toys, and it all started in 2013. I was very prolific in Spanish media, and I started to receive free sex toys, and I put two and two together and made it my business, and that's my business now. So obviously, I do enjoy hard work, as you can see, because it's really fun. But I don't always feel like it because sometimes I think, oh my god, and I've got these emails saying, "Have you done the review yet?" And I'm like, oh, okay. I try to kind of respect my own biorhythms, not just do it because it's work. So that's it's quite an interesting job. But I do think that things have improved a lot over the years that I've been in this business, but I do feel that some women might feel as they're being unfaithful to their partners if they use a sex toy sometimes. So I think with men, they kind of assume they kind of can do things on the side like watch porn or whatever, but with women, it's kind of like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe that explains why some women feel guilty about it. They feel like they shouldn't be doing it, or maybe they feel that they can have a better orgasm on their own than with a partner, because you know often partner sex is too much focus on penetrations, and that's
Yep,
not really where the party is at for most women.
exactly. So that's a lot about what I talked about in the orgasm prescription for women, but it's also in the Real Self-Love Handbook. It's just really understanding how you got programmed
Mm,
and doing kind of an inventory, like what are my beliefs about my body, about pleasure, about sex, about one of the things you'll see in the orgasm prescription for women is that I say your partner is not responsible for your orgasm.
mm,
Period. For women,
absolutely.
I'm saying. So whether if you're a woman with a woman or with a man, it doesn't matter. You are responsible for your orgasm. So we can't put the blame and say, oh, my partner isn't, doing the right moves or doesn't have the right package. It's like, no, orgasm is your responsibility.
Yeah, that's why people shouldn't be faking it. They should really take responsibility and communicate what's not going on, what's not. Because obviously men are not mind readers or clairvoyants. They need to kind of be guided.